In this video, we are discussing sniping rare NFTs for a good price on the secondary market and more NFT trading strategies with the one and only Micah G, very experienced, very talented trader. As usual, nothing in this video is financial advice. We're not financial advisors. The NFT space is incredibly risky, so always do your own research. And if you like the video, make sure that you hit the like button because it really helps us out, and smash the subscribe button. So Micah, you are one of the best people that I know when it comes to sniping rares. You've got experience doing it on a multitude of projects. You just told me off camera a minute ago that you plan on doing it with this project, Martian Premier League, and this is not the official collection.
That looks low.
So let me go ahead.
That's a scam project.
Here's the official collection. So you're going to do it with Martian Premier League today. I'm familiar with your strategy and how you operate, and I remember you did it with Adam Bomb Squad. You made a bag off of that, and I feel like what other projects have you deployed the strategy that you're going to deploy today on Martian Premier League with?
Honestly, most big projects I've played around with that. So I was doing it on Dower Darcells recently. I was doing it on Loser Club. It really, pretty much any reveal that I can get, I'm going to attempt this strategy. The key to it, though, is it's kind of more art than science, because a lot of the times where money can be made is before things are clear cut. So when I explain this strategy, I want people to understand that there are people with Python scripts that are going to run through the entire collection when that metadata releases, and they're going to quickly be able to actually figure out the rarest NFTs, their IDs. They're gonna scrape through the script, and they're gonna pull out all of the most expensive ones. So this is not me attempting to compete with those sorts of people. I do not have the time.
The bots, right?
Yeah, I don't have the time to compete with the bots. And many times people are going on these like aggregator rarity websites, and that's also something where if you see it on an aggregator rarity website, 1,000 people are also already seeing it. So the point of my strategy is this is just a different way to focus on your own, trying to find rares, trying to get your own stuff before other people can see it, because all of these aggregators, all these bots require scraping all the data. So you have a couple of minutes in there where things are uncertain, and you can essentially, steal rares before people even realize they're rares. So the way that I do it on all of these is you're going to want to go to the Etherscan, and you want to get the token URI. So if you just look at the contract for one of these projects, for example, you can get the token URI and see what it leads to. And generally it's going to be, so if you just click on that and you get on to where it's like where it first got minted.
Sure. So down to here, right here.
Yeah, any of them. So that transaction, if you just go over to the Etherscan it's on the right-hand side.
Yeah, so
where it says 4 days ago.
I want to show people. So like 4 days ago, you click on this, right? If you click on it, it opens a new window. I'm just going to copy the link address, paste it here. So here we go, Etherscan. And this is a tool that a lot of people should know how to use, because Etherscan, I mean, it just tells the story of everything that happens on Ethereum, right? That's why when people talk about blockchain, they talk about things getting tracked. This is what they're talking about. Is like, you can go on Etherscan. If I know Micah's wallet address, not only can I see every transaction that he's ever done, I can see how much money is in his wallet right now. So it's like a very useful tool.
Yeah. So what then you'll do is you'll click on that MPL where it shows the token, this like MPL. So right where the transaction. Yeah, there's a bunch of places, but basically you're trying to find the token, the NFT token. You'll click on that, and then you'll click on the contract. So this is the token that keeps track of them, but the contract controls what the metadata of these tokens are. Then you'll click on contract, and then you'll click on the read contract part.
Right here.
Yep. And click on read contract. And then you'll come down and you'll look for token URI. It's usually at the bottom. But this is all of the metadata behind the NFTs. When they say, oh, it's revealing, you got to wait for OpenSea, you don't actually have to wait for OpenSea. All OpenSea is doing is it's checking this token URI. So I just put in like 123 or something just to figure out what the URL is. And essentially, everything that gets revealed on OpenSea is just when this token URI changes or the metadata behind it changes. So just put one in and then query it.
So like what? Like 1, 2,
just
3?
One. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. And then query. What that's going to give you is in that case, it's giving you is it IPFS link?
Yeah, IPFS.
Yeah. So then you would pull up IPFS, and I can send you an example. So let me select this to you. Or
you can send in the
messages.
private chat. You send it on Discord.
I'll send it on Discord.
Cool.
So this is an example of an IPFS link, and you'll just take that last part. So starting with the capital QM.
Okay.
So that's an example of metadata from some other project, but if you replace that end part, you'll get the metadata for these
the particular number that you have.
Yeah, exactly. So right now it's probably going to be a placeholder. So when you pull this up with your version of metadata, it's going to be a placeholder. And the second that they upload the metadata and change that token URI is the moment that everything is revealed. Now it's very time sensitive because right, all of those bots, all of those rarity things, those are going to immediately, the second that this pings, they're going to start aggregating the data and figuring out what's the rarest. So what I do is when it starts, I have something that's a high ID number, 8,500, 8,600. I have a couple of those queued up and I just check them to try to get rares. That's really my only chance for one of ones. And if you understand the competitiveness of this market, that's your best chance, right? You have a few shots at a one of one. But then, so after I've checked that IPFS, I'm looking for things that are obvious rares, legendaries, whatever it is. That's probably the placeholder text, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And people are trying to say that this method doesn't work anymore. But I think that what they're not understanding is you're going off of the names of the traits, right?
Yes. Yeah. And the key is you have to understand, and this is why I preface this with there are people with bots, there are aggregators, there's all this stuff that you're competing against. And so as a regular NFT trader, this is my chance to get rares before those aggregators. I'm talking you have a minute, you have 2 minutes, you have a little bit of time to try to get those ones off the floor before they are going to get picked up by bots. If you are a bot runner or you're somebody that likes doing that sort of programming and coding, this is probably not a hint for you, right? This is you're working at a different level of trying to do that aggregation. But the point is those aggregators have to run before they can figure out what is rare. So you, as the everyday user, has a few minutes where you do have a chance, right? You can fast gas it. If the first couple you check are legendaries or super rare, you can fast gas it and get them. After those first few minutes, though, what you're going to do is you leave that page up and you start looking at the activity tab of the project. So the activity tab, you're going to be able to see stuff that newly gets listed.
This is a big thing.
Yeah, so you can see these instantaneously. So when you're looking at, I mean, for that project, yeah, it's just going to be a bunch of like unnamed ones. But you can sit on that activity tab, and the way it works, to the best of my understanding, is it really won't. It'll cache it until about 30 seconds. So what you do is once they get above 30 seconds with that time, you can refresh and you can potentially get ones that have listed 5-6 seconds ago. And you can start checking the IDs of those. Because the other way that I've made a lot of money is new users in the space do not understand the premium that very rare traits get. So somebody with a rare might post it a little bit above the floor because they don't understand this kind of this bell curve of the rarest stuff is worth 10 to 20 times the floor. And they might list it for 3 times the floor. And so if you start to get an idea of what's getting listed, you can catch many new users listing stuff at a premium, but nowhere near the premium it deserves. So I've had multiple times where I've been able to snipe a rare for double the floor price that is actually worth 5 or 6 times the floor price, and that's instant money. So this is where my strategy is. I start at the very beginning. I'm trying to beat the bots and the aggregators, and I have a few minutes to do that. And then I can switch over, and I basically start working that activity and look for people that undervalue the rare that they get. If somebody lists a Martian, for example, this project, you have 9,000 humans and 1,000 Martians. And if somebody lists a Martian for 2x the floor price, that's an insta-buy. I'm going fast gas. I'm going insta-buy because they're rarer than 90% of the NFTs. That deserves more than a 2x premium. Yep. So that, I mean, I'm screwing myself if a lot of people watch this show, but that is 100% my strategy, right? Is if I see something get 2x listed a Martian, I'm going fast gas. I'm buying it as quickly as possible. I'm putting 500 Gwei on the priority. I'm putting 1,000 on the, because I know that I can make money off of this if I get it.
Right. No matter what. And plus, it's not like you're actually going to spend that gas. You're just going to be faster than everybody else. And whatever that amount is the gas that you'll pay.
Yeah. And that's another way to beat bots. That's another way to kind of outdo bots, is that bots have to be very careful about what they put for gas, because they're doing it like on a lot of stuff. So they're like, bot creators are going to be very worried about buying something that they don't know that they can get money on. So there's a lot of these like rare NFTs that a bot is not going to compete with you on gas for, right? They're going to put maybe a little bit over, but because the creator has to be careful what they're putting for gas, you have a better chance of getting those rares versus a bot, because you can just kind of outcompete them. Because they're doing it at scale. So that's another one, is like, if you can get stuff slightly above floor, bots are going to pick up, like if somebody screws up the mint price and they put it like half of floor price, you have no chance of getting that. A bot is going to snipe that.
Yeah.
But you have this chance in this weird middle area where like rarity isn't quite determined yet and people are still a little confused. That's where regular humans can make a lot of money. And that's kind of where I live, is in this, you know, sniping rares without needing to compete with aggregators and your rarity services. And it has proved very profitable, and I'll be doing it on the 1ETH wallet just to end you guys already.
Well, we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk smack about the 1ETH challenge. With Adam Bomb Squad, did you like snipe a rare bomb and sell it for 8 ETH or something?
I did, and Adam Bomb Squad was actually even more fun from
and easy
real human, because they had no metadata. So
right.
It was literally just a picture. And so what you did is you got the IPFS picture and you would just look at the pictures. And I started to see
the ones rare.
Yeah, you were like, hey, this looks rare. Or it has the sticker, like the ones that had the little sticker on the side. And so I sniped, just like, it looked obviously rare. It had a sticker. And I just turned around the second they revealed, because reveal also took a while. So it was kind of one of those
where, a while.
Yeah, it was one of those where if you didn't understand what you were doing, you just got eaten alive by people that knew the rarity. There was another project like that you have to be careful about, is the IDs were off. So the ID and the metadata was different than the ID. So people were listing stuff because they used the wrong ID to check it. And so people would list rares because they were misinformed of what was rare and what wasn't, or like what the ID to use was. So there's a lot of instances where when things are unclear, when things first reveal, there's always chances to make money because of the uncertainty. If everything is certain and everything is laid out, all of those huge gains and losses kind of go away because everyone's on an even playing field. But those first few minutes when it reveals, there's a lot of money to be made. Another one in here is there's these skill traits, to talk specifically about Martian Premier League. There's skill traits where you can get a godlike skill. So that's another thing. When I read their paper, a godlike skill is probably very rare. So if I see that in the metadata, I'm sniping it. If it's anywhere near the floor, I'm sniping it, because that's not going to be clear until a couple minutes after reveal. So I have a few minutes to make a lot of money. But yeah, Adam Bomb Squad was awesome because they just did the pictures. And but you could also get wrecked, right? You could say, oh, this one looks really rare. And then it comes out that it's not, and you lose a bunch of money. So it's hard. It's dangerous, but can be very profitable.
Yeah, for sure. And I wanted to call out a couple of comments here. So we had someone say, what kind of scam is this? I think in reference to you doing the metadata sniping, I would say it's not a scam, but it is a skill and advantage in trading, right? If you want to say that a bot is a scam, that's a little bit more fair, but just being a experienced trader that knows how to read IPFS, interpret metadata, make decisions and move from there. I think it's a stretch to call that a scam. I would say it's actually something that anybody can do now that Micah has laid it out on this show.
If you do not understand Etherscan and you don't understand how to check the actual metadata rather than waiting for OpenSea to update it, you need to stop whatever you're doing and learn how to do that. That and fast gas. Knowing how to put fast gas on a transaction and to change the gas, those are things that when you're trading thousands of dollars, you have to learn how to do that. Like, You have to know how to
Fast
do that.
gas is the easiest one to learn, and it's the most effective. Like, I used to get smoked on transactions, like failed transactions all the time. And now I'd say the problem, like, I never think I'm going to lose a transaction. Occasionally it happens, but I just never think that I'm going to, because the fast gas just kind of takes care of it for you.
Yeah, especially if you know what you're about to gain. If you know that, hey, if I win this transaction, I'll be able to flip it for an extra 0.3 ETH, then I'm completely comfortable putting 0.1 ETH worth of Gwei, because I'm like, this is guaranteed money. I just need to win the battle.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And Joseph said snipe something right now. Well, he's going to be sniping MPL in a couple hours because it's revealing, right? You have to be in the throes of a reveal. Speculator asked, was MPL an official or was MPL a public mint or a whitelist? It was whitelist, right?
Yeah, and I think they even had a problem where like some of the people on whitelist didn't get to mint, like they oversubscribed the whitelist, so that didn't go super well.
Yeah, that's not the best. That happens.
Yeah.
I think we gave away whitelist spots in our Discord. Eric didn't get me one, so shout out to Eric, the guy that runs our whitelist, for not, and our, you know, our valued employee, for not getting me a whitelist spot with MPL. Thanks so much, Eric. No, I'm just kidding. Shout out to Eric. So someone else said you can snipe Murray in 45 minutes. We bought Murray in the group wallet, and I know speculators got it too. I did not know this was revealing right now. Do you know anything about this, Micah?
I know absolutely nothing, but I would probably try to snipe it in 40 minutes. It's just one where I'm probably just gonna pull up a couple, and if something says legendary on it or one of one, I would probably get it. But I think I don't know enough that I could play that second part of the market where you actually are trying to like snipe rare trades, because I don't even know, is it a profile picture? Like what am I buying here?
You're buying a PFP. If you haven't seen it, it's anime style, right? Speculator disrespectfully called it an Azuki knockoff, which I immediately let him know that I disagreed with. So yeah, I think that, like, I already have one of these. I should have bought more. We were buying them between 0.5 and 0.58. Speculator has a couple, like I mentioned. I think that it's probably going to do good. It'll be interesting to see if there's a post-reveal dip or if it's a rip post-reveal, because they've shown the art on their site and stuff, but like the average NFT person does like zero research, literally like zero research. So I wonder if this is going to be a pump post-reveal loser club style. I'd almost be willing to bet that. I feel like if this dumps hard, I'm just going to buy another one or buy a couple more, but we'll see. It'd be cool, depending on how long this show goes, if these start to reveal, maybe we can have you do some sniping. Someone said it's revealing at 7 p.m. UTC. That must be 3 p.m. over
39
here.
minutes. Yeah.
39 minutes. All right, we'll see. That might be a little long.
Yeah, Top Season is asking, he assumes that you go through all the pieces on the floor one by one. So because of the fact that you're competing with rarity with rarity sites, you know, there's a bunch of rarity sites out there. There's a bunch of bots on more popular projects that are going to scrape the entire floor. I start a little bit above floor, and I start with later IDs. So that's my way to compete, right? I'm a little fish. There's a ton of stuff out there. So what I do is I'm finding IDs that are late in the numbers, and I'm finding stuff slightly above floor so that when tools are attempting to aggregate, when someone's running their Python script and querying every single token URI, I do have an extra minute or 2 minutes before those programs are done. And so I have a chance, if those late IDs that I've picked out are rare, I have a chance to get those. But it's like, I mean, these are computer programs that I'm fighting against. I have very little chance after a couple minutes, right? After 2 or 3 minutes, I'm done looking at the floor stuff. Anything that's valuable has been found by a bot at that point, and then I move over to activity. But yeah, the late IDs I found is more successful because people are just going to run through and scrape every single, right? Usually you would start from the beginning. So that's my theory that seems to work out, is the programs are starting from the beginning with every single listed item, and they're just going to pick out the ones that have valuable token IDs. So it's 30 seconds to a minute. I don't want to oversell this as something that's you can consistently do throughout the day. You have the moment it reveals, you have seconds to do this successfully. So
And I
Yeah,
mean, you know,
it's hard.
you made 7 Ethereum selling your ape token right away. You woke up at 5 a.m. to do it. That's kind of the same.
Hmm.
It's the same principle, right? So it is work. It's being available right as an event happens. People are like smashing us like, please snipe a rare live. They're trying to force you to deploy 0.7 Ethereum into Murray as soon as it reveals.
Well, and that's the thing is, I could try, but that is also not a project that I'm comfortable knowing what a rare is.
Right.
So that's what I'm going to do in Murray in 39 minutes is I'll have the contract up. I will look at one and I want to see what they look like. And then I'll decide if I think it's safe. Because if these things don't look that good and we're seeing like a massive, problem with people just tanking the floor, it's going to be a terrible snipe. But if they look decent, then yeah, I'll attempt to just find one that looks really cool. I don't know that I know enough about this project to know what I'd be looking for the same way I've looked at the Martian Premier League white paper. I know, there's going to be rare skills. There's going to be 10% Martians. So if we could find that on this project, I would be way more comfortable sniping it. But I just don't know. Is there something that tells you, are there different factions? Is there like a rare faction? If you can find a section that has rarities, that would make me more comfortable looking at the metadata and making a snap judgment in 10 seconds. Are there ones that are much rarer than other ones? Because, yeah, having not really heard that much about this project before now, it's a dangerous thing to just on the metadata grab one.
Yeah, I can imagine. You can't just go in completely blind and you're starting from basically nothing. This particular one also, they intentionally don't disclose that much information. It's kind of shrouded in mystery. That's part of the lore of everything in the house ecosystem. So people are asking like, can we show an existing revealed project? It can be tougher to snipe rares with a project that's already been revealed. You kind of have to get lucky that someone was looking for liquidity and is down to sell a rare for relatively cheap. And at that point, you can use tools like Snipe C and these different products that will help out with that. But do you have any insight for sniping a rare for an existing project? I mean, we've talked about Atom Bomb Squad. If you were going to snipe a rare right now with Atom Bomb Squad, how would you do it?
I mean, I wouldn't, right? This strategy is about when things go from unknown to sort of known, but still confusing. That's where the money can be made, right? When a project has been out for months and you can fully see on OpenSea how many of each type exist, what is rare, what's not rare, there's not a lot of money to be made, right? The money is made when we are unsure about things and we go in anyway and we take that gamble. Once something has been out for months and every single bit of it is covered, then the person listing has an easier time saying, oh, I'm going to list this one. What's the floor of X trait I have? What's the floor of... So you don't get people accidentally listing a rare. And if you do, a bot is going to grab that because bots have also had months to be fine-tuned to what each attribute is worth. So the thing that maybe you have to be clear here is a reveal is the moment that the metadata goes from unknown to known, and you have a limited clock. You cannot go back months later and suddenly attempt to snipe a rare. I'm trying to get a good mutant right now, like potentially get a second mutant. Ooh. So I'm sitting on the mutant ape floor and I'm looking for like a good smile. I'm looking for a couple of traits that I like, but that's not like an active thing to do. I'm sitting on the activity tab. I'm waiting for a mutant to pop up and I'm trying to see if it has one of the cool looking smiles. Yeah, I do it from the activity tab though, right? Because anything that has been sitting there more than 5 minutes is probably priced by the market.
And so what you're talking about, this is also super basic, right? People might not know how to do this. So this is super, super basic, which is you go to the activity tab, right? And then the default is sales. You see that on the left, sales, but you click on listings, right? And then this is how you see that 1 minute ago, this mutant got listed. So you can be there and make the play as soon as something gets listed. Look, you're sitting there. It's diaper season, right? It's hard work to just sit there, but that's how you put yourself in the position to do that. Beyond that, there's a tool called NFT Nerds that shows you the listings coming in true, proper real time. So if you don't know what that means, right? This listing page on OpenSea, it's not going to just refresh by literally the second. Maybe it refreshes by the minute, which, don't get me wrong, is pretty good. But when you're competing against all these other people and there's money on the line, you have to use every tool that you have available. So if you use something like NFT Nerds, they're going to give you the live feed literally by the second as things are coming out. And when a project's like pumping, or if it's the post-reveal dump, that's a really good way to get buys in. You can also set gas settings by default there. So it's a really good auxiliary software tool, since OpenSea, we can't expect anything out of OpenSea, right? They've basically drawn a line in the sand and said, we're not going to build anything out. It's just not going to happen. Basic stuff, forget about it, right? But with an NFT Nerds, you can actually, knock that stuff out with their very strong tools. So
yeah, and that's all I want to make a point is we're kind of talking about different things here when we talk about these professional softwares, because the professional softwares, to help you need to have some level of
wherewithal,
metadata and history. You need to have some level of I want a rare. Here's what a rare is. So when we talk about and actually on OpenSea, if you refresh right when the listings get to 30 seconds, you'll get the freshest ones. So still 5 or 6 seconds ago posted, probably there's some level of lag there. But we are talking when a project first reveals. If you're trying to get any project that's been out even 10 hours, NFT Nerds, I probably have no chance to compete with that, right? I have no chance to compete with a bot or anyone after 10 hours of reveal. So that is, and I haven't done that as much. I'll usually just kind of play the very beginning, get what I can, and see what happens. But I agree with that. Is you have to move to the tools the second that things are known, the second that rares are known, and there's actual rarity data out there. You don't have a huge chance to compete with those tools.
Yeah, you're inspiring me right now, because I'm a big fan of M1 Grin. You know what I mean? I might actually go on Twitter and ask if anybody has an M1 Grin mutant that they want to trade me. Because this mutant right here, I would trade my mutant for this mutant in a heartbeat, right?
It's the best look. M1 Grin is the only thing I will buy. Well, or the other grins. There's a multicolored grin, there's a diamond grin.
But it's still a grin. It's still a grin. That's by far the best mutant. And in my opinion, some of the M1 Grin mutants are just some of the dopest apes, period. It's just some of the dopest apes in general. Oh, Vicky's got an M1 Grin. All right, we'll have to see if I can finagle something there. Okay. I wanted to talk about this project. And by the way, time out. Before I even load this project, I might want to buy this live on the show right now, or at least get some exposure to it. Audience members, do not just start front running me. Yesterday when I was buying Dead Friends, we had been talking about it for a minute or two, and I go to the floor and nothing on the floor was available. And you audience members are just buying up all the Dead Friends. Luckily, I snuck a buy in and I already had to. And now the floor is up 0.13 from yesterday's show. I don't think we can take credit for that. That would be ridiculous, because Dead Fellas, Dead Friends ecosystem is super, super well supported, exceptional creators, the whole 9 yards. But I was just appalled at the front running that was going on from the people in the crowd. So let me buy the damn thing if I'm going to buy it. Here we go. Or buy it for me. Hit me up after. Be hey, I bought it for you.
Yeah. So this is an interesting one. I mean, if you're interested in this as a play, I would do the feed, just because you have a chance to get a really rare, right?
No, but I'm not gambling. I'm not going to do the...
Oh, you're not? See, that's what I would do. If you're going to put that money in the ecosystem, I'd probably throw it.
Would you really though? But it's a premium. It's a premium of at least 0.06 for the bird and 0.1 for the poop, right?
Actually, okay, yeah. Let me see what the bird is at before I suggest that. I think it's weird to get the Feed Clan one.
You think it's weird to get the feed?
I think it's weird, because then you really are stuck, unless you're gonna throw it. Because then you're just kind of stuck with just the strategy of hopefully Jeff Staple gives some sort of additional value to the feed over the other ones, because it's the original. Because they're down at low enough prices, though, you're talking about a 0.05 loss if you get a floor. So the pigeons are 0.2, so you'd lose 0.065. If you get the worst pigeon, you're losing 0.075 on this bet. But if your bet is on Jeff Staple, every single collection would go up, right?
Yeah.
If you get a rare, though, suddenly you're looking at 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. You've technically made money, and you were going to hold any of the 3 collections anyway, right? So that's my thought behind the feed. I already have heavy bags of all of these, which way I don't see me doing it. But for me, it's like, if you think it's a win either way, why does the 0.065 that you put in, why is that that much worse for you, right? If you get a Supreme poop or you get Starbucks poop, you've already made money. So you have a chance to end up way above the floor. Whereas, yeah, you're losing 0.08, 0.06 off of the feed by itself, but they're all going to go up if Jeff Staple actually delivers, right? So,
well, yes, I mean, that's
it's a gamble. Yeah, it's a gamble. I would, yeah, if you're going to do it live, I would do the feed and just throw it. If you're willing to wait, though, then I think you do attempt to snipe the floor for a pigeon, or you snipe one of the more recognizable brands for a poop. So if you're not doing it live, then that's probably the play, is to get in on a rarer, if you get Supreme or Nike or Starbucks for the poop gang, or you get a cooler looking pigeon at the floor, I think those are valid plays. If you're like, I just want access to Jeff Staple and the vision that he's building, I think the play is to grab a feed and just throw it so that you have a chance to make a ton of money immediately. And if you miss on it, you wanted to hold it anyway, right? You wanted access to Jeff Staple anyway. So paying an extra 0.08 in a worst case scenario, to me, I think is better. So, but again, I'm gambling.
What if you have a rare of the first one, a rare of phase 1? Because I have a dumpling, for example. I can't throw the dumpling. Wouldn't make sense. I should have sold the dumpling, quite frankly. But
yeah, Smash Cheese right here. Toss your feed for the content. 0.08 worth of content.
I've spent a lot of money. I've spent a lot of ETH for the content. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I've spent a lot of ETH for the content.
I would keep the rare, but I don't know. It just. All right, honestly, I would probably sell the rare. I'd probably
jackasses,
sell the rare.
I'm buying the stupid donut and I'm tossing it. This is ridiculous. Oh my god. All right, there's a 10% creator fee on his stuff. Oh my god. All right, so I'm buying the dumb donut and I'm tossing it. I'm not even going to use fast gas because I don't think people are really front running me like this. So how many times have you done this, Micah?
So, I mean, you can look at my wallet if you want to. I did a lot of flipping of just different ones. I probably tossed about 8 or 9 feeds total. Okay. I kept on getting pigeons. I sold some rare pigeons to then get more feed and just kind of like recycle back into it. But I have 2 feeds left. I have like 4 pigeons and 4 poops. So yeah, it's all of it is a bet on Jeff Staple, right? So you're just hoping that something about holding one of these collections gets you something in the Jeff Staple ecosystem. Yep. If he announces a collab with Artifact, you're rich. If he doesn't, it probably bleeds for a while until something gets announced.
Well, here we go. Let's choose the donut. Shall we, Micah? Toss it?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Here's the thing. If it goes terribly, I will refund you.
No, you won't.
Half of it. I'll give you 0.04. I'll take half of the. I feel bad, but it's just.
I don't care. I don't care.
It's a little extra to get a chance at a legendary, and then you have to choose how you're tossing it. I don't know that matters, but.
What should I do? Toss normally, toss lovingly, toss everyone vote. Audience
That's
vote.
Up to you.
No, the audience has to vote. Do I toss it normally? Do I toss like a boss? Do I toss it lovingly? Or do I toss it aggressively? What do I do? You guys got to tell me. I'm not tossing it until I get at least some sentiment from the audience. Am I going to toss it
aggressively?
All right, so no surprise. Vicky said aggressively. Someone said toss lovingly, boss, like a boss. I'm seeing a lot of like a boss. Lovingly, aggro, aggressive, like a boss. I mean,
Vicky changed to like a boss.
Yep, some of the more reasonable members of the audience are like lovingly, right? But I think at the end of the day, everyone said toss like a boss. We're gonna toss like a boss. Pay the damn gas fee.
What is it, like 0.01 or something?
No, it's $17, so
Okay.
0.005. Worst gas fees have. All right, here it goes. So, Mike, you got to tell me how good whatever I get is. Let's see.
Yep. So you're just looking. I mean, pigeons obviously a little bit more valuable, but you're looking for something with, a hat or a pigeon carrying some sort of item. Um, Obviously, for the poop, if you get a poop side, you just want a logo that is like popular. So Nike, Starbucks, yeah,
Yeah.
Supreme.
So after we do this, I just heard something. I was under the impression my dog was sitting with Nick on the couch in the other room. I hear that he's on the phone, and I wonder if my dog is upstairs. So after this, I'm going to have you solo talk about strategy for a few minutes while I just make sure that my dog is not literally destroying this house that we rented. But where's my thing? What's going on here?
I would just go to OpenSea, or you can check it on Etherscan. But if you just go to your OpenSea profile.
All right. Here's the moment of truth. What do we got here from Stapleverse? Am I lucky? Did the audience make me flush?
It does take a few minutes for it to.
Did the audience have me flush 0.1 ETH down the toilet?
It's a pigeon. So now it's just this is actually one where you can go to the Etherscan here just to like drive that home.
Sure.
It's gonna take a little bit longer for it to update, but if you just click on the Etherscan,
copy link address,
and take your and then take that token ID, and after a few minutes, so if you go to the Stapleverse contract, you can take that token ID and see if it's.
Let me grab that token ID. I wouldn't be surprised if someone in the audience is already snooping and
I'm looking it up right now.
Okay. I go to contract, right?
Yep.
Where am I clicking? I got to go to the contract.
The pigeon contract.
Right. So the pigeon, boom. Contract, boom. Go to contract, read.
Yep. And then for your,
what's going on?
You may have to read as proxy. Something that work?
Read as proxy.
Everyone's just screwing with you and saying it's a
token URI.
Yep.
Query.
And you can just put any one in just to get the
And then put this in.
Yep.
So what do we got? What do you think?
Still blank.
Still blank.
Still
okay.
thinking.
Well, we're gonna have to. I'll refresh the metadata. I'm gonna let you go and just talk about your strategy solo for just 1 minute while I go and figure out what is going on with my dog for a second. I will be back.
Cool. I mean, I guess I'll go to the comments here. What do you guys? I'll just answer questions. What do you guys? Who has a question about general NFT strategy? Or nobody. I can just talk about. I can get ready for this Martian Premier League one that I'm so excited about. Oh, Sapphire. Oh, this is actually so the gutter juice is another big one. My information on the gutter juice one is they posted something yesterday in the Twitter about like it was a comic and it showed that they were going to start revealing species 1 on sometimes it was like 3 and then you couldn't see the day 2022. So gutter juice, the cats are going to be revealing. The cats are going to be revealing sometime this month, so those should go up in price. And then it looks like it's going to reveal species by species, which means it'll go rats and then pigeons and then dogs. So I don't necessarily know how you play that. I think dogs is a interesting play. If they look really good, then dogs are going to be the last ones left. So people are sort of going to stream into the lottery. And so I think dogs could skyrocket if the rest of those collections are doing well on reveal. But the opposite is true. If they don't look that good or prices are falling or the floor is falling on mutants or clones, I guess we'll call them, that could be, right, dogs can get hurt the worst because they're going to not get that reveal bump the longest. So I'm invested in dogs, though. That's my main gutter juice play is dogs. So kind of got a floor one there.
Is it straight up just a floor one?
It's pretty much a floor one. Hopefully,
I can hold this thing and let it get up to 0.3. It'll get to where it needs to get. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, this to me, I mean, still in like a worst case situation, this is kind of the strategy of, to me, getting into the ecosystem is this is the worst it gets, and you still end up with a solid piece of the Stapleverse for slightly less than what the, or worth slightly less than what the feed cost you. So for a worst case scenario of basically a floor pigeon, it's not that much less than what you had paid for it in real ETH terms. Um, yeah, but gambling is bad, kids.
Yeah, I that's why I don't like gambling is exactly that, but it's
I'll
okay.
send you the difference. I'll
No,
send
you
you the
won't.
difference.
No, you won't. Absolutely not. But we did that for the content. It's fine. I can wait for that to materialize into something because it will. It might just take some time. Any other projects that you really like looking at right now, Micah?
Well, I still have my heavy Gucci Gang bags.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, we've talked
Uh,
about it at nauseum, but
yeah, no.
it's okay though. Like we can just look at like the fact that it's a 1.5 ETH floor is fantastic. Yeah, man. I mean, look, there's the ape ones are just
Yep,
still
Apen.
selling it too. They just are. You know, they just are. That was awesome.
And what floors me about, or what I don't know if this is bullish or bearish, but the fact that 200 people did not understand enough about their passes yesterday to
Oh
redeem
my
them
god.
before they became worthless
Yeah.
tells me how little maybe the
Research.
entire NFT ecosystem understands about this project. And when they start revealing and it's Guccified apes and mutants, it
Yeah.
could just skyrocket in price because people be like, oh, that's what people were buying. The opposite could be true though, and it could be like, oh, all the people that bought it also thought they would get something else, and they're like, wait, that's what the outfits look like, and it tanks because yeah, so people just don't read. Like
I
it
think
is insane to me that
the outfits look good though.
yeah, maybe I'm just not a fashion expert, but I'm hoping. I have 6 of them. I'm not trying to fud my own project. I'm just realistic about people just don't seem to understand what they're buying. Could be good, could be bad. But I'm holding on to my bag so far.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But yeah, I mean, like, I'm really this one's gonna materialize. I got 2 mutant Gucci's. We got 2 Bored Ape Gucci's in the group wallet with Nick's thing. Nick's got 2 or 3 of his ape Guccified. I just think that it's gonna be an absolute slam dunk. So that's gonna be really exciting. That's an obvious play to me. Um, any other stuff that you're looking at right now? I'm trying to like.
Altered state machine I had sold out of, and I'm so actually you can go to, I guess, ASM Brains would be the best example.
Okay.
Brains. So these are kind of on the expensive end, but there's also these little soccer characters. But basically, ASM Brains is part of Fluff World, and they're kind of the AI piece. So it's almost like an AI license in the form of a brain that your brain can like be put into other NFTs to cause them to learn skills in games. And they have an all-star sort of soccer game that's coming out. But I sold out of these in December, and they had talked about a token release. Like there's supposed to be a token airdrop next week for owners of these ASM Brains for the ecosystem. But again, its connection to Fluff World, its connection to a lot of other stuff is just kind of bullish on the project. I'm not sure that's a very high entry point, but that's another one that I've kind of been looking at is like if we're in token airdrop season again, that's a really strong like Fluff World community is a really strong one to have access to. So I'm looking at that a little bit. I'm looking at Rumble Kong League just because I've started to see some of their trailers on their games, and I'm a huge game person, just trying to find like good gamified stuff. So I've already bought a team of Rumble Kongs, so it cost me like 4.5. But they all have like they all have different skills. So you kind of want to be watching the floor to try to get ones that are better at their basketball game. So that's another one that I'm just kind of sitting on, trying to get more of. Cool Pets. Cool Pets, they got to release that game at some point. So I sold out at 2. Like
1.39,
I know,
man.
I know. Like I just have so much hope, and I sold out, and I'm waiting for an entry point. They have to release something at some point. I I keep staring at it. I keep staring at it. I keep wanting to get back in.
How low will it go? At some
I
point,
know.
right? Like at some point, What are Cool Cats? 7?
They got all the way down to 7. They got all the way up to like 10 when they pumped because of the Bored Ape trailer.
Yeah.
And I FOMO'd into one and then immediately FOMO'd back out and made like a tiny bit of money. But yeah, that was kind of an interesting one. Is I don't think that they're actually connected to the Bored Ape ecosystem. I think the Bored Ape creators bought NFTs to use in their trailer, so they're technically licensing just one of each NFT. So I think the reaction from the community was like, "Oh, they're working with Cool Cats. They're working with Blanco's Block Party," and it's like, no, they probably just had one or two of them that they were allowed to use in their video. So I bailed right back out of those because Cool Cats and Cool Pets is entirely reliant on that game. So if you want to know what that price does, if the game comes out, the price goes up. If they release something that says the game's delayed again, the price goes down. And so all you're doing is you're gambling on those developers in that game. And that does not mean you're going to make money. It just means you're betting on the Cool Cats developers. So it's dangerous. But I want them to succeed, and I want to play that damn game.
Well, I have to think that at some point they'll figure out a way to get that off the ground. But the Cool Pets being at 1.39, if we compare it to Deadfellas, 1.39 versus 8.5. Deadfellas are at 2.8, and Dead Friends are at 0.43 almost. Man, Dead Friends at under 0.3 was the most obvious play in the entire NFT space for about 3 weeks. It was just right there.
Are they companions? Like, there's no gamification to it, right? Or they don't
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's a good, like, Deadfellas just sick. Clearly they're doing stuff with fashion or something. As long as Deadfellas does well, these are going to do well. I don't know about buying them here because I bought them at under 0.3. But yeah, I don't know.
But see, what Cool Pets though, right? You have a bunch of people with a ton of money who invested in Cool Cats that are about to be drawn in by raising and hanging out with their new cool pet, right? You have this gamification thing where a bunch of money is going to come into the space because it's a bunch of rich people who got rich off of Cool Cats. So to me, this is like, you know how Raid Party was kind of that, it's trying to be like that rich person's game. Yeah. But Raid Party was off to the side, separate from every other project, so no one has like mental attachment to it. This is going to be that on crack, right? People are going to want to level their cool pet, and they're going to have the Ethereum necessary to just throw it around at stuff. So I think this is a really interesting one if it ever comes out, in a way that Dead Friends is just kind of like entry to the ecosystem and just, hey, cool, you get to be part of the gang or whatever. This is an avenue for really rich people to throw a lot of money around. So I don't know. I keep looking at it. I can't pull the trigger. I already have 3 of them. But
oh, you have 3 right now?
I had 7 at one point, and I sold out of 4 of them when I realized the game was super delayed. But I'm waiting. I'm hoping.
Well, I have to think that they're going to go back to 2 at some point. I just have to think so. I think I got to jump because my dog is somewhere, and I don't think she's with Nick right now. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you follow Micah on Twitter. I just realized I haven't. There we go. So it's at MicahG05. Sorry, you're not going to get to see him snipe MURI live.
I'll be there. You guys will see my name in those comments if they look good, or in those little transaction history.
Well, it's going to be interesting, man. I can't wait to see what we have revealing in the nifty alpha wallet. But yeah, thanks so much for joining us, Micah. This was awesome.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.